The story opens on a rugged, isolated island off the coast of Scotland, where Michael Mason maintains a solitary existence. Living in a small house accompanied only by a lighthouse, a boathouse, and his dog, Mason purposefully distances himself from the world. His only link to civilization is the supply delivery brought by Jessie and her uncle, who, unknown to his niece, once served alongside Mason. From the safety of his home, Mason watches their arrival. Jessie rows to shore, depositing a crate of supplies in the boathouse. Before departing, she leaves a small, wrapped box as a gift. As she rows back to her uncle's vessel, Mason retrieves the crate but leaves the gift behind, refusing to forge any personal connections. He spends the following days in silence, filling his time with drinking, walking his dog, playing chess against himself, and sleeping. Meanwhile, in London, a man named Manafort faces a grilling by a government committee regarding his unethical surveillance program, codenamed Thitch. The panel accuses Manafort of utilizing the program to tap into every camera and phone in the UK, effectively creating a police state by hoarding private data. Manafort attempts to defend Thitch, arguing that its reach has prevented dozens of attacks and identified numerous terrorists. Shortly after the hearing, Manafort meets with the Prime Minister to discuss the political fallout. The Prime Minister, after cutting the office's recording equipment, proposes a clandestine arrangement. Publicly, Manafort will be fired to demonstrate accountability, allowing his protégé, Roberta, to take command. In exchange, Manafort will be permitted to return to the shadows, running his operatives and the Tech program without oversight. Manafort accepts, and the Prime Minister congratulates him on his retirement. Days later, a severe storm batters Mason's Island as Jessie and her uncle attempt a supply run. Her uncle urges her to drop the goods quickly and return, as the weather is deteriorating. However, upon reaching the shore, Jessie carries the supplies all the way to Mason's door and knocks loudly. When he answers, she hands over the provisions and attempts to give him the gift he previously ignored. "Most people say thank you," Jessie remarks. Mason coldly tells her never to approach his door again. He tries to shut her out, but Jessie jams her foot in the doorway, defiantly telling him she isn't afraid. Mason forces the door closed. Because of the confrontation, time runs out. The storm intensifies. Her uncle's boat rocks violently in the waves as he struggles to hold position. Jessie boards her rowboat, but is thrashed by the current. In moments, both her boat and her uncle's vessel capsize. Mason, watching from his window, sees they have vanished and springs into action. He rushes to the boathouse, launches his own engine-equipped boat from the ramp, and heads out to search. Forced to dive into the churning water, he finds Jessie tangled in the ropes of her uncle's boat. After freeing her, he looks deeper and sees her uncle trapped in the cabin, already drowned. Unable to save the man, Mason surfaces with Jessie and transports her back to the island. The next day, Jessie wakes to find her bruised ankle is infected. Mason informs her she must stay until she heals. When she asks for her uncle, Mason delivers the devastating news that he drowned. Over the next few days, they settle into a routine. She rests while watching him drink, sleep, and play chess. Eventually, she rummages through his belongings and finds a knife. She also notices he has finally opened her gift, a small snow globe featuring a lighthouse. When Mason approaches to check her ankle, Jessie, fearing harm, threatens him with the knife. Instead of anger, Mason calmly corrects her grip. She demands to know why he hasn't called the police, insisting people will come looking for her. Mason replies that he cannot call anyone and points out the harsh truth: she is now truly an orphan. As her mother died years ago, she never knew her father, and her uncle was her last family. Mason tells Jessie she is free to leave once she heals. Resigned, she tries to adapt, bonding with Mason's dog, whom she names Jack, a name Mason approves of, and proving herself to be a formidable chess player.
Black queen to f2.
Realizing her infection requires proper medication, Mason travels to the mainland pharmacy. A former operative, he carefully avoids security cameras but is inadvertently captured in the background of a civilian's cell phone video. The footage feeds into THEA, flagging him as a violent terrorist. In her new command center, Roberta receives the alert and dispatches a kill squad. From his home, Manafort sees the same alert and winces, realizing what has been uncovered. Mason returns that night with the medicine, but hears a boat approaching. He instructs Jesse to hide in the bathroom and prepares a defense. A 6-man kill squad lands on the beach. Mason flips a switch, releasing a net that drags one man into the water to drown. He then floods the area with light, blinding the soldiers and neutralizing their night vision. He drops a heavy boulder-like object on a second man. He smashes a lantern over a third man and shoots him with a flare gun, burning him alive. He stabs the fourth man in the neck and shoves him off the cliff. During the melee, another soldier enters the house. Jack attacks him, but the soldier shoots the dog dead. This soldier finds Jesse in the bathroom and drags her toward the beach. Mason kills the fifth man in the boathouse by impaling him on a hook and seizing his weapon. Seeing Jesse being dragged away, he shoots the final man dead. After grabbing supplies and noting his dog's death, Mason calls a friend, stating he is on the run with baggage and needs assistance. He and Jesse flee the island. Back at MI6, Roberta is shocked to discover the entire squad has been wiped out, leaving her questioning Mason's true identity. Mason and Jesse reach the mainland and arrive at a farmhouse. After teaching Jesse how to properly hold an assault rifle taken from the island, Mason approaches the house, only to be stopped by the owner wielding a shotgun. Jesse, however, surprises the farmer, asking him nicely to lower his weapon. Noting Mason's injuries, she pleads for help. Roberta's team intercepts a police call from the farmhouse. She dispatches an operative named Workman to bring Mason in. However, Workman belongs to Manafort. From his home, Manafort contacts Workman with override orders. Mason must be killed. When Workman asks about the girl, Manafort coldly orders Jesse's death as well. While Mason is being treated, the farmer's son enters. Looking guilt-ridden, he admits he called the police. Officers arrive shortly after, but Roberta patches through, ordering them not to intervene. As the farmer steps outside, he is shot dead by a sniper. The sniper is Workman, who mistook the farmer for Mason. Hearing this, Roberta tries to contact Workman, only to find he has cut communications and gone rogue. Mason and Jesse exit through a side door. Mason disables the police officers without killing them and steals a cruiser. Workman gives chase, but Mason eventually maneuvers the car to flip over. Mason and Jesse find a work area and swap vehicles. Workman, bloody and bruised, walks down a road until a concerned woman stops her car to help. A police officer pulls up behind her. Workman kills the officer, then steps to the woman's window. Presumed to be a witness, she is killed off-screen, and Workman steals her car. Realizing the situation is spiraling, Roberta consults her colleague, Madison. Madison notes that Mason's appearance doesn't match the photo in the alert. She cracks the file's coding, revealing Mason's true history, a decorated Black Ops soldier who went rogue after refusing to assassinate a defecting Iranian scientist. Mason faked his death and has been hiding since. Mason and Jesse arrive at a secluded house in the woods belonging to Arthur Booth, Mason's old comrade. Mason seeks passage for Jesse, an innocent caught in the crossfire. Jesse wanders the room, noticing numerous pill bottles. Mason learns that Arthur had swapped his own photo with a random civilians to evade the government, but Manafort replaced that file with a terrorist profile, sending the innocent squad at the lighthouse to their deaths. Mason asks Arthur to help Jesse, but Arthur refuses. Jesse returns and reveals why. Arthur is terminally ill with cancer. She recognizes his medication from when her mother was dying. Arthur sadly confirms he has perhaps a year left. Workman, tracking them, arrives as they prepare to leave. A brutal fight ensues between Mason and Workman in the library. As Workman holds a knife to Mason, Jesse points a gun at him, begging him to stop and appealing to his humanity. Unmoved, Workman snatches the gun and attempts to kill them both. Mason tackles him, allowing Jesse and Mason to reach Arthur's car and speed away as Workman fires. Stopping in town, Arthur hands Mason a phone for emergencies. Mason warns Jesse to walk carefully to avoid cameras, but a dashcam inside a parked car captures them. Manafort deletes the image from TGA and sends the location to Workman. However, Roberta and Madison notice TGA has been compromised and set a trap. When Manafort attempts to access the system again, he is locked out. They realize Manafort is involved, but Roberta decides to deal with him later. Bringing Mason in alive is the priority. Running out of options, Mason and Jesse travel to a nightclub owned by Kamal, a trafficker. After beating the bouncers, Mason gains an audience. He promises Kamal that if he provides Jesse with a new identity, funds, and safe passage, he will survive. Kamal argues Mason has no leverage. Mason counters that Kamal operated freely for years, but with Manafort back in the shadows, Kamal is now a loose end to be cleaned up. Convinced, Kamal tells Mason to wait while he prepares. Manafort sends a hit team to the club. Roberta, tracking Mason, sends her own squad. Realizing her team is minutes away while Manafort's men are already inside, she has proof of the rogue operation. Kamal provides the identity and money, directing them to a boat, leaving in 30 minutes. Jesse refuses to go without Mason, but he insists it is the only way to keep her safe. Manafort's killers storm the club. Mason engages them, taking them out one by one, but a soldier grabs Jesse and drags her out. With help from Arthur, who has hacked the cameras, Mason chases them down. Dodging Roberta's team, he rescues Jesse, and they race to the boat. At the docks, Mason tells Jesse to board, but she refuses to leave him, as he is all she has left. Mason comforts her, insisting it is for the best. Suddenly, shots ring out, Workman has arrived. Mason lowers Jesse to the boat, which speeds away with her safe. Mason and Workman exchange fire until their guns are empty. Mason tries to reach Workman, asking if he knows why he was sent to kill them.
Do you even know why you're doing this?
Workman replies that it doesn't matter. He attacks with a knife. Mason grabs a long chain attached to a large heavy pipe. Swinging it, he strikes Workman in the head, breaking his neck and killing him. Days later, Manafort is at his mansion, watching news of Roberta dealing with the fallout. He pours a drink, then looks outside to see his 2 guards are dead. Understanding the implication, he quickly finishes his drink. He turns to find Mason standing there. Manafort admonishes his former golden boy for growing a conscience and breaking the rules. Mason retorts that the target a decade ago was innocent. Manafort tries to recruit Mason, claiming he now has full autonomy to run his Black Kite operatives for the country's good. Mason replies that such thinking is why he didn't pull the trigger then, and why he has to now.
For the very reason I didn't pull the trigger 10 years ago, and why I have to now.
Mason shoots Manafort, dead. 3 months later in Spain, Jesse has settled into a new life. Roberta and MI6 watch from a distance, knowing Mason will eventually appear. As they pack up for the day, they miss a camera inside the cafe tilting upward. A cashier hands Jesse a bag, saying a friend dropped it off. Inside, she finds a chess piece. She realizes it is a message from Mason letting her know he is okay. Jesse looks out to the street, but Mason has already vanished, content in the knowledge that she is safe. Thank you so much for watching this recap here on ViraRecaps. If you enjoyed the video, please take a moment to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment down below. Your interaction really helps the video get discovered by other people, and we truly appreciate your support. See you in the next one.